NCOs that are here for the Foreign Area Staff NCO program. So they're here for 2 quarters to gain a certificate in a region and then go on to fill a utilization tour somewhere using that newfound expertise. And then we also have 6 PhD candidates that are here getting their PhDs in technical subjects as part of the Commandant's PhD program, parentheses, technical. So it's always something going on at NPS, both the education phase of people's time here, as well as a research phase where you're writing your thesis and doing research, something related to what the Marine Corps is interested in, and then also probably something that you brought from the fleet. We'll be having graduation here on the 18th of June, which will be good. It'll be in person for the first time in a year plus, which is good. It'll be outdoors and socially distanced, but it will be in person. So a little bit of return to normalcy. And then we'll take a breather for about 3 days, and then all of the new batch of officers and staff NCOs will be rolling in this summer to begin classes right after the 4th of July. And looking forward to having them here, and both to seeing kind of what they bring with them as the new batch, and then also as the old batch is leaving and going off to their utilization tours, just recognizing the transformational experience for most of them that has been their time at MPS. So thanks, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And for those of you who just joined, come on into the room, and we've set up the chat. So if you do have some questions for our panelists, please, by all means, put them in the chat. We'll be monitoring that. And I'm sure many of you, either if you've had orders, you're going this year, or you might in the future, you have some questions for our panelists who are recent alumni graduates. We've got next up, let's introduce Captain Holloway. If we'd love to introduce you and hear your story. Can you share with us a little bit about your background and what your experience was like at MPS? Wonderful. Well, we can't hear Captain Holloway right now, but we can see him. Okay. Why don't we let's cut away over to Major Ryan Keller, who was also a recent graduate, who now works at MCTSSA, the Marine Corps Tactical System Support Activity, who was trained as a pilot, but got orders to NPS and now works at MCTSSA. And so he can share with us a little bit about himself and his experience.
Hey, Amy, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I would say rather than being trained as a pilot but got orders to MPS, I was trained as a pilot and got orders to MPS. It is something that I personally sought. So I grew up in the CH-53 Echo community, 7566 by trade. So I was an ASO NSI Dibley before I left my squadron, Condors, HMH 464. Best one out there, I can say that. So I chose to seek out the opportunity to go to MPS because, to be perfectly frank, I'm a gigantic nerd. I found a lot of utility in my technical knowledge and background just through my own hobbies, and I sought after a master's in computer science. So I was fortunate enough to get accepted and went down to Monterey and spent the next forever to about 27 months there to getting my computer master's or computer science master's degree. And what I could say is it was a great opportunity. One, not only for the connections and the people that you'll meet that I still keep in touch with, but also again, the education really gave me some good grounding for where I moved to and where I'm at now, which is at MCTSSA, the Marine Corps Tactical Systems Support Activity, where our command is dedicated to supporting Fleet Marines on C4I tactical systems. You call the MCTSSA help desk, and you'll reach out and talk to another person, our Warfighter Support Division, and we provide testing and engineering support on Marine Corps C4I systems as well. So I have found great utility in the knowledge that I gained from MPS, specifically a lot of like the technical deep dives. And my operational experience that I grabbed from the fleet certainly helped as well in terms of briefing individuals or groups, being able to convey ideas, and but really marrying that up with the technical background helps, I think, achieve a force multiplier effect when you're in systems procurement, or you're evaluating things, or you're seeking new technologies to fulfill a capability. So, and right now I am the branch head for the Advanced Concept Cell, which is a small yet high performant team focused on getting after some of those advanced concepts in the Commandant's planning guidance. Where can AI-enabled systems be applied? Where can we receive some boons if we can get after that and ethically and responsibly develop systems like that, as well as developing applications for the local MCTSSA workforce and trying to cut out a lot of the manual labor processes and see if we can't expedite and get any again, force multiplier effects through delivery of software.
Okay, great. Well, I'm showing people a picture of Ryan, who, can you describe this award that you got at NPS?
Oh boy, yeah, no, great photo, thanks. It is, so I was fortunate enough to receive the Grace Murray Hopper Award. So Admiral Hopper, super awesome, obviously, one of the founding mothers of implementing high performant compute at the time in the application of naval warfare. So, and just I was fortunate enough to receive it from the faculty, and that was probably due to a lot of the work that I did helping the now Sizer Institute, but just getting the AI conversation stirred up and started, and how NPS is a great place to have an honest broker for the entire DoD and Joint Force with regards to the convergence of academia, military operational experience, and relevance.
Okay, great. And I just want to show people here your bar raiser award. Here you are working at MCTSSA. And can you tell us a little bit about what that award is for?
Yeah, so our CEO, commanding officer, Lieutenant Michael Liguori, he hands out bar raisers to individuals at MCTSSA, and he likes to honor those individuals in front of everybody at our monthly meetings and monthly get-togethers. So he was kind enough to give me one because, if everyone remembers this, when the pandemic occurred, meeting people became kind of hard. So that's when the DoD started to roll out CVR Teams and Microsoft Teams, and to some folks that was a foreign entity to be scared of in some cases. But naturally I dove into it just because, again, gigantic nerd. So I wanted to know all about it. Had never used the platform before. It was the first time I'd ever seen it on the Marine Corps Enterprise Network. And then found it to be a very useful teaching tool. So started up and invited individuals to come just test out Teams with me. It's like, hey, give me a phone call whenever you want at your desk. We'll put on the headset. We'll troubleshoot. Let me show you how to schedule a meeting. Let me show you how to start a phone call. Here's how you take notes. Here's how you add a form that you might generate. So, and that went on for a period of weeks, getting folks just spooled up and offering my time to let people just ask how to use it. So I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I really do find a lot of value in teaching. A lot of that probably comes from what my parents instilled in me, and also from my time in the cockpit being an instructor. So that was an honor in and of itself, just to be able to help folks kind of navigate a new technological solution.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your experience there. And I'd like to introduce now Lieutenant Colonel Michael Liguori, who is the commanding officer of MCTSSA, if he's able to hear us and see us. Perfect. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Hey, Michael here. Michael,
we can.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Mike Liguori. I'm the CEO of MCTSSA. MCTSSA stands for Tactical Systems Activity, and I got a unique perspective graduate, 88 information technology management, and I did my payback tour at Manpower Reserve Affairs, and then from there I did another payback. All right.
Okay, great. Well, we definitely want to hear from you. We're going to work out the audio issue that you're having right at the moment. Let's move over to Captain Matt Audette, who is standing by, who also is a recent NPS graduate. And so, Captain Audette, let's introduce yourself and tell us your program that you attended at NPS and your role now.
Excellent. Sounds good. Hello, everybody. I am Matt Audette. So by trade, I'm a 1302 combat engineer. While at MPS, I studied in the electrical engineering curriculum, so 8824. And right now, as part of my payback tour, I am a project officer at the Advanced Manufacturing Operations Cell at Marine Corps Systems Command. So what that is it's commonly known as the additive manufacturing cell. We deal in more than just 3D printing parts, but it is the home for advanced manufacturing in the Marine Corps. As we look to implement EBO and the Commandant's Planning Guidance and logistics over distributed operations, where can we go through and use advanced manufacturing to solve readiness issues, producing repair parts as close to the point of need as possible, implementing new solutions from the ground up, entire systems based around advanced manufacturing. Some of the things we do is we're experimenting with 3D printing ship-to-shore connectors, so entire boats, so not just repair parts. Also taking we fleet source solutions, so that Lance Corporal who has a good idea that solves a problem across the entire fleet, where can they give that to you to put in front of a program office to vet and see if is this a fleet-wide solution, does it need refinement, and where can we hang it so other Marines can go grab it. So we work in all those spaces of advanced manufacturing, additive manufacturing, and working towards folding those into the Marine Corps toolbox.
Okay, wonderful. I just want to share a few photos. Can you talk us through your experience while at NPS? Looks like you had an amazing time there, but what did you know about it before you went there? And then once you got there, after you went through the program, your takeaways?
Absolutely. So what did I know about it beforehand? I knew that I'm also a giant nerd. I think with my hands, my happy place is my workbench. And so throughout my time as a platoon commander, we're constantly going through and making our own homebrew solutions to problems. And my background is robotics. So I was doing a lot of programming and actually building my own kits and training aids and stuff like that at home. And one of my captains actually caught me and said, hey, as part of the CCLEB payback tour, they look for technical experts to go through and do this sort of thing for the Marine Corps. And that's when I reached out to my monitor and said, hey, I want to go to MPS and study electrical engineering. That seems like right within my bailiwick and aligned with my interests. And when I got on deck out there, I'll say that my time there was not just defined by the electrical engineering curriculum, but also the extracurriculars that I picked up. Like I said, I think with my hands, my happy place is my workbench, but there's a first-rate makerspace on NPS's campus, the Robo Dojo. And so it was the week I checked in, I was wandering around campus, looking around, trying to figure out where my classes were, and I saw 3D printers in a window. And I thought, oh man, I like 3D printers. I know how to use those. So I went and ran around and said, hey, you guys got 3D printers? And Professor Solis, the director of the Robo Dojo, said, yeah, we do. I said, man, that's really cool. I'd like to be able to use them. I'm sure there's a line out the door to do so. And she said, actually, no, they're free to use. We just don't think the students know how to use them. I said, well, I know how to use them. Can I teach classes on it? And so I started teaching a one afternoon workshop on, hey, intro to 3D printing. And then other folks started coming through and taking it and saying, hey, I want to learn soldering. Well, I know how to solder. Yeah, fine, we'll do a soldering workshop. And so I spent a lot of time in that makerspace, which was really good because it was taking a lot of the things I was learning in the electrical engineering program and turning around and applying it directly to other students' theses. Because the big thing is a prototype sells an idea. If you can go through and make, instead of us talking about, hey, we think this is what the solution looks like, if I could put something in front of you, and we start having a much more of an informed conversation, being able to ideate on this. So there was a lot of us from all these different departments, all these different services. We're meeting each other in the Robo Dojo in this maker space and going, oh, you're doing stuff with drones. Man, do you know this guy over here? He does stuff with drones. Or, hey, we're looking for somebody that does know how to do circuit board design to help out with this thesis project. Do you know circuit board design? And so I spent a lot of time rapidly prototyping and making things outside of my classes. And that's actually what got me my job at the Advanced Manufacturing Operations Cell. My name kind of trickled up to the folks that were standing up the cell and said, hey, there's a Marine out at MPS who's doing a lot of rapid prototyping. He'd probably be a good fit for this operation. So taking advantage of that, and also like I said, my background's robotics. My passion is robotics. So the CAVR, the Center for Autonomous Vehicle Research, is out there. So getting hands-on, talking about problems, applying my fleet background and the tactical mindset to autonomous vehicles for the Department of the Navy. And also this guy above me, there's a up in Silicon Valley, there's a group called DIY Robocars. So they were doing homebrew autonomous vehicles using RC cars instead of real cars, but same sensor processing. So I was doing that on the nights and weekends based around my curriculum. In addition to that, while we're out there, you can't beat the location. That was the other thing that when I was started looking at NPS, everybody said, oh, Monterey is great. It's beautiful. And I will say it is absolutely beautiful. But then the things to do around there, if you're bored, it's your own fault. My wife got really into wine tasting. So by default, I got into wine tasting. So Napa's up the road, but also Carmel Valley and Salinas Valley. So here we are at a winery with some of our local friends that we made out there. There's great places to just go and walk around. Pinnacles National Park is out there, very close by. There's some good hiking there, but also Mount Tam, just north of San Francisco, or Point Lobos, just to the south of Monterey. That's really where I really enjoyed to learn to enjoy running, because the scenery out there is gorgeous. My morning run before classes would typically start outside of campus and run along the path along the beach. And you do things like see seals and sea otters, and certain times here you see whales from the shoreline on your morning run before you go into class. And did a bunch of other stuff. Spent a lot of time out in Big Sur, out in the woods, and also Hearst Castle is near there. So you drive down Route 1. It's a beautiful drive, pass a bunch of great restaurants, and then you go look at Hearst Castle and see some crazy great sites out there. So I'd say on top of the curriculum, the extracurriculars out there really, really made my time worthwhile.
Wonderful. Well, we're looking at some pictures of you on the campus and out sightseeing at some of the places that you mentioned. So talking about that environment, it's located in Northern California, Monterey, California, just south of San Francisco. It's this very exquisite, elite place that the school is located there. It's of historical significance. Just sounds like a wonderful opportunity outside the classroom, but being co-located so close to Silicon Valley probably lends itself to developing some partnerships and networks in that region. So wonderful experience. If we can, let's go over to Captain Holloway now and talk to, have him share with us his experience. If we can hear him, that would be wonderful.
Can you hear me?
Captain Holloway, we can hear you. Wonderful. Thank you and welcome to our live stream here, our panel discussion. Give us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Thank you. So I joined the Marine Corps a long time ago, 1999. I was prior enlisted. I commissioned in 2012 out of Auburn University, and then I got the MOS Air Intel. So I did a stint out there in 224 in Beaufort, South Carolina with the Bengals. And then I got selected for MPS. When I came out to MPS in 2016 to 2018, I had my degree in ITM, and I had a great time. Like everybody else said, Monterey is a great place to be. It was a great time to be able to be amongst your peers. Everywhere you go, you have other captains and majors around with you, and it was a very unique opportunity to have that time frame to be able to reconnect with everybody from all different aspects and views of the Marine Corps. So while I was there, we did finish EWS, and I focused on my curriculum to be able to come back out to the fleet. So my first semester there, I had to take Acquisitions 3331, and it's a heavy class. It was like a fire hose, but it was actually pretty exciting. And little did I know that class would have direct impact on my future job when I got stationed at Marine Corps Systems Command. So now I'm stationed in Marine Corps Systems Command. My team was the Intel Systems team, so I was at PMIS, and then I worked on the DCGS Marine Corps All-Source program, which is the Distributed Common Ground system for Marine Corps. Basically what that is it lets Intel people find information, be able to collect it, share it, disseminate it, and then be able to make a decision in a timely manner. It can be difficult to do with all the other entities and other systems, and so we're trying to make information sharing easier. And that was a great job.
Yeah. Oh, continue.
That was a great job. I was having a great time doing that, but then I got pulled, and now I'm serving as the aide-de-camp for Marine Corps Systems Command. So that's a one-year bullet. I'm almost done with that, and I'll go back to Intel and save the world.
Well, wonderful. Well, your experience in your IT management, now that you've already spent 20 years, almost 20 years in the Marine Corps, how do you think that NPS experience will position you if you're looking to retire, you know, in the near future, or a couple, 2, 3, 4 years down the road?
Well, definitely prepares you. So NPS does a great job of giving you that analytical mindset. So there's things that you pick up along the way in the Marine Corps that, you know, become second nature to you. But NPS is a time for you to step back and reflect and really add process to each individual situation that you may encounter, as well as helps you network with your peers in the future and wherever you're going to be at. So I think that the NPS experience definitely helps prepare me just to get my mind out of the current mold that I was in, and help me see a bigger view of the world, and expose me to the terminology and the management processes and the systems that they'll be using. So it definitely helped out a lot. I've used a lot of what I learned at NPS.
Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. Great. Well, let's go over to Colonel Michael Liguori, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Liguori, Commanding Officer of MCTSSA, located at Camp Pendleton, California. If we can hear him, and we'll get his take on how to utilize these recent graduates of NPS. We can, sir.
All
we've
right.
got you.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yep. So what I disabled my video so that I have better audio, and just let me know in a private chat if you can't hear me. Yeah. So I'm the CO of Marine Corps Tactical Systems Support Activity, and what we do is we conduct tests. We have 3 pillars, and we conduct test and evaluation. We do engineering, and we also provide direct technical support to the Fleet Marine Force. For the entire Marine Corps and the Joint Service with tactical systems. And we also have amphibious vehicle test branch under us, so we support expeditionary and combat vehicles. And our why statement, the reason why we do all of that test evaluation and engineering and global technical support is to inform the acquisition senior decision makers to make the Marines more capable. That's kind of what we focus on. I have an interesting take because we have a lot of naval postgraduate officers that come to MCTSSA, and I myself am an NPS graduate. I am an 8848 Information Technology Management degree, and when I was at MPS, I was wondering why I'm learning so much technical stuff, and I couldn't explain or have a kind of a path of what this was going to do for me, but like any good Marine, try to do my best and get as much as I can out of NPS. And interesting enough, I did my payback tour at Manpower Reserve Affairs, and I can't tell you, once I got there, coupled with the experience of our leadership experience that I had, and now that I have that technical experience, how well NPS prepared me for what I was about to do, managing all of the Manpower's IT systems. And it went all the way down into every little class that I had at MPS, from managing networks, information assurance, applications, database management. It allowed me to ask the right questions to the subject matter experts, and really hone in that branch. And then from there, came here to MCTSSA, and now I'm on the receiving end of these graduates. And I can't tell you how effective they are. There's a secret sauce at MCTSSA, and it really is when you combine these technically educated officers from Naval Postgraduate School with their leadership and experience from the fleet, and you couple it with the Fleet Marine Force enlisted Marines that are here that really know how to implement these tactical systems in a MAGTF architecture, and you couple that with the experienced civilian engineer team here, it really creates this critical mass that allows you to just go after very strategic problem sets and find solutions. We have a very centralized workforce here at MCTSSA that's organic to the Marine Corps, largest engineer kind of workforce in the Marine Corps that's organic to us. And what happens is the civilian engineers get the latest and greatest of what's happening technically from NPS with the officers, and then the enlisted Marines provide that MAGTF architecture construct, and we apply that engineering rigor from the civilian engineers, and it really does some amazing stuff. There's some of the efforts that the MPS Marines get after, they're real world stuff. So they'll go from learning computer science right into adversarial cyber security developmental testing. We have a cyber blue team here that was appointed by Marine Forces Cyber Command, General Blavey, Major General Blavey. He appointed us on November 10th of last year, so that was a pretty exciting moment for MCTSSA. And we have 2 or 3 NPS Marines in there, and we actually have 1 NPS Marine that actually leads the entire cyber branch.
Great. Yeah, we see the Cyber Blue Team designation. It was designated last year, November 10th, 2020, and that is a significant designation as a result of the hard work and from NPS graduates. So we can tell that the workforce there is integrated, a uniform and civilian team members. And so Colonel Liguori, I think, just fell off our live stream, but we are very proud of our NPS workforce. There are 16 billets at MCTSSA, which is a huge, significant amount. And so we definitely understand the value that it goes back, that goes into having these graduates join the team. As they graduate from the NPS, they get orders, what they can expect to do and serve at their units. Captain Holloway, can you share with us some of your NPS colleagues, graduates that are now working at Systems Command and how they're integrated into the workflow there? From your end, what are you seeing there in Quantico?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. So most of the graduates from NPS come to Quantico down at the SysCom main building, and they serve as project officers. So as a project officer, you pretty much handle, you have a team, and you have a program of record that you will manage, and you will manage that via 3 things: for cost, schedule, and performance, right? And so basically, you will take your requirement that you get from CD&I, make sure that your team is meeting those requirements and that it works, whatever that program is, and that it meets schedule. It sounds easy, but it can be a little challenging. But that's what makes it fun. It's a slow moving process. It takes time, but you get to see the Marine Corps from a different aspect. So most of the guys that graduated from NPS are doing that. They're having a great time. It's not for everyone, but that's why the Marine Corps likes to move us around every couple of years so we can get that good experience and take it back to the fleet. I think one of the biggest takeaways is that you do go back to the fleet And so you understand what Syscom does, you understand what the value of Syscom is, and then you can use your experience here from to build on the equipment or whatever program that you're working on, whatever MOTSSA you're working on, you know how to make it better. There are avenues to do that, and working at Syscom helps you understand that process.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. And we do have a question in the chat. I'd like to throw this over to Colonel Pugh, who's the senior Marine at Naval Postgraduate School, and you probably get questions from students or prospective students. We have a question in the chat from Mark Grill, who said, what's the biggest benefit of an NPS graduate degree as opposed to a civilian institution or a different type of master's degree program? What would you tell Marine officers out there who are not sure which way to go, if they maybe exit the Marine Corps and go pursue a degree at a different university, or stay in service in uniform and go this route? What is your advice, or what can you recommend to them?
Mark Grill, good to see you here, my friend. Mark and I served together at 2nd Radio Battalion, and he remains one of my very good friends. So thanks for asking the question. I think if you're interested in getting advanced knowledge and skills, you can go to any number of universities around the United States or in a foreign country, and you can get an excellent education. And I would argue that the Naval Postgraduate School is, in the top tier of those where you could go. So just as a kind of blind comparison, coming to NPS is, as good as going to any of the other places. The difference when you come to the Naval Postgraduate School, though, is a bunch of different things, starting with your fellow students. So as you look around the student body, think about you're either at NPS or at a civilian university. At the Naval Postgraduate School, you look around at your fellow students, and they are your fellow Marines from every MOS, every community all across the MAGTF. And then of the 1,600 students, a large portion of those are from other services, and especially the Navy. So you get naval integration, but you also get a joint flavor to it. And you have about 145, 150 international officers here from around the world who are also in their armed forces. And so you're getting that kind of insight and their experiences. And then also you have civilians that come here. So early career engineers at the warfare centers, for example, come here. So the student body is an exceptional mixture of different kinds of experiences, and everyone is straight from the fleet, whether the fleet is the Fleet Marine Force or the Navy fleet, or from their service or their country. And then the faculty is exceptionally switched on when it comes to understanding not just the deep technical aspects of whatever the subject is that you are taking your classes in or doing your research in, but they're also switched on about what the naval application of that or the warfighting application of that is. And so you're not just learning, getting knowledge and skills with the expectation that when you graduate, you will go and apply them to some kind of job. That's all mixed in from the first day of class all the way through to you completing your thesis, is how the things that you're learning are going to make the Navy and Marine Corps or the Joint Force better. And so that is very different than what you would get at a civilian university. And then also, I think kind of going back to the students, but also outside of NPS, relationships. So relationships with your fellow students, relationships with the faculty, but also being so close to Silicon Valley, we have relationships with commercial companies at the highest level of sophistication and market share that you get to see inside of those organizations and what they're working on as far as research and productization of that research, turning ideas into things. And then also relationships with academia. So, if you're interested in what's going on at MIT or Georgia Tech or Penn State, if you come to NPS, you will have those relationships, bridges to those universities through the faculty. And then also relationships with the warfare centers and Marine Corps Systems Command and MCTSSA, so that as you're making your way through your program here, you're actually doing hands-on research, and that hands-on research relates to something that you're potentially going to get fielded in a couple of years when you go back to the fleet. Like, you had your hands in making that thing better. And then lastly, and Mark, I know this is near and dear to your heart, like the connection back to the fleet. So yeah, you can go to a civilian university and it's kind of like, you went away to school to get, smart or whatever it is, and then come back to the Marine Corps. But when you come to NPS, you have that constant connection to the fleet and the ability to pass on knowledge that you're gaining to your peers and to the other Marines that are out in the fleet, and then also to work on things that are important to the fleet so that you can make a tangible difference through your efforts at school to make the fleet more efficient or more effective in warfighting. And I can't think of another, as you think about it, the Naval Academy in West Point and the Air Force Academy, for example, at the undergraduate level, very unique experiences for those that attend those undergrad colleges and universities. But similarly, NPS is really the only place where you can go to get that same kind of experience at the graduate mid-career officer level. And so, not disparaging any of the civilian universities, but NPS is one of a kind, I would argue. And for those that are interested in serving the country and the Joint Force and the Navy and Marine Corps, really to come here allows you to do that immediately, and then to go back for your utilization tour and beyond, and keep paying that return on that investment over your career. So thanks for the question, Mark. Good to see you here.
Can I add on to the back of that, Amy?
Absolutely. Thank you.
So yeah, just want to echo Colonel Pugh on a couple things. So second point being relationships, but first point being you really do have that agency over your problem set. And one thing I've never heard a Marine not have is like a problem with something in a good way. Like everyone is looking for continuous process improvement. They want to make their Corps better. They have a finely honed MOS mindset on probably an issue that's been bugging them for a long time, or writ large the Marine Corps. And MPS gives you the tools that you need via connections and education and just physical space to have, as the former senior Marine at MPS said, the one true place to sit down and have a think and apply yourself to a problem set. And you have the ability to affect that. Second, relationships. Colonel Pugh has thanklessly and heroically maintained something, the AI Coalition of the Willing, that I have attempted to attend as many times as I can, ever having since departed in October of 2019, because when that got started, I found incredible insight, and it continues to be like a weekly highlight of mine, because it brings together an excellent cross-section of naval services that are all eager to talk about, and warfare centers that are eager to talk about what's going on for cutting-edge stuff. I would also say that, I'd be a liar if I said that timing is important for MPS. Like if there's a hot button issue that is an issue and it's becoming an emergent issue, then that is the perfect time to execute. If you want to consider yourself to be either the subject matter expert on it, or you're not sure who's the tip of the spear on this issue, you can go ahead and take that problem set, start to own it, and build that community. Because I guarantee you, anyone who has CCLEV or CPID that's coming here is going to, you have your finger on the pulse of the issue. I guarantee it. You know, and you can take that problem and that frustration. You can really channel it into a positive outcome.
Wonderful.
Sure,
well, thank you for that, sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah, can I jump in, maybe? No true words. I definitely agree with that, and I will say that the Rolodex for sure that I walked away from at MPS, so not just in the Marine Corps but in the other services, because there is that time to think deep and to bring your problem set in and just think and grind on those problems for such a long time with the technical backdrop that you're learning here. The innovation space as I move throughout the DoD in that, and then anybody who could kind of call themselves like a professional anthill kicker, somebody who goes through and just upends the table and starts build it from the ground up. We need to modernize. We need to go through and is working real hard in that space. I usually cross paths with them 99% of the time. I met them out at MPS, and you meet those people and you forge those relationships through those long conversations with folks who you otherwise wouldn't cross paths with unless they happen to be in your same unit or in your same MOS field. So it's a really good crossroads for that. And as far as going through and positioning yourself to be the technical expert on a nation issue, that's exactly what happened with me and the Marine who also stood up the advanced manufacturing operations cells. We saw this as, hey, we think this will be really useful for the Marine Corps. How can we start molding this into something that actually is and is being, and here we are still applying this new technology, and that came directly out of what we picked up at MPS outside of the classroom, just the thought processes that we learned there, and we've been applying it ever since.
Wonderful. Well, we've just got a few more minutes, but let's start with you, Captain Audette, while we have you. What's the one thing that you would tell someone who has orders to NPS? What advice would you give them? Maybe a takeaway, lesson learned when you were in their shoes a few years ago. What's the one thing that you would share with them right now if they're watching and they're not sure what to expect?
I would say make sure that you proper use of your white space. It is really easy with how rigorous the curriculum is out there to go through and just put your nose down and not look up from your whiteboard or from your compiler. Just make sure everything is working. I'd say also a lot of the stuff that I got that out of MPS that I apply every day in my job is those extracurriculars. Like I said, forging those relationships with the other Marines, looking at the consortiums that happen out there, the work groups, looking at stuff that is happening up the street in Silicon Valley, and looking for areas to apply your unique expertise as your primary MOS and what you're learning as that technical expert to the Marine Corps' problems. Be on the lookout for those, because if you're not actively looking for them and you don't ever leave your workspace, they will pass you by. So I'm grateful that somebody pointed me in that direction very early on in my time at MPS.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Let's move over to Captain Holloway. What is your one takeaway that you would like to share with the group that you think that could be helpful to someone else?
I would say that it's easy to get wrapped up in the curriculum and all the work that you have to do there. But don't forget about balance, right? So MPS is a great time for you to step back, reconnect with your family, and see the Marine Corps in a different light. It's a great time to see the experiences and enjoy the environment and all the other advantages that you have of being located in Monterey. Like everyone said, you have Silicon Valley, you have open source summits, you have different conventions and things that you can go to flesh out with your thesis and to just really explore. So take the time, take a deep breath, don't get overwhelmed with the curriculum, just enjoy yourself and learn. Use the time to learn, read everything you can, and enjoy it. Enjoy your years.
Thank you for sharing that and your perspective. Major Keller, what's the one thing your takeaway that you learned the most and that you'd like to share with those coming up behind you?
Yeah, don't be afraid to mix it up. And what I mean by that is, first and foremost, PME. Focus on getting your PME and grade done. And if you've got PME and grade done, just do it while you're there. Someone already mentioned it. You have enough time. Like Captain Audette said, that white space is great. But you can forge your own opportunities if you poke your nose in enough places. And I promise you're probably not going to get in trouble. You're probably going to be thanked for your participation. So walk around campus, talk to folks, get involved in those consortiums, get involved in those events. I'm aware of one student, good friend of mine, who fabricated out of thin air a 3-month internship with DIU up in Mountain View. And he was able to work that with the command, and he was able to work that into his timing. And he's a better Marine for it. So you have such a tremendous agency over your path, and to include the classes that you take and those extra ones. The world is your oyster when you're here. So take advantage of it.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go back to Lieutenant Colonel Michael Liguori, who is checking in with us from down in Camp Pendleton in the on the beachhead there.
Yeah, I went mobile. I literally went mobile to figure out how to get a connection. I'm using my phone as a hotspot, believe it or not.
Wonderful. We're all jealous because you're down on the beach today. But
yeah.
What's the one thing that you learned and you'd like to share with people? And then what can they expect when they arrive at your front doorstep ready for duty after they've graduated?
So the three Marines that spoke are spot on. Balance is huge. Making sure you're taking time for yourself, for your family, enjoying the area, enjoying the hikes, enjoying the wine, enjoying the golf, enjoying the car shows, and fully embrace the area. And then the second thing I heard that's spot on is take advantage of NPS and everything that it has to offer. The real genius and goodness out of NPS is not the particular classes. It's the things, the inches between the classes, the communities you build, the relationships you build, the conversations and the consortiums that you participate in, the extra tracks that you take to really dive into cyber or managing a portfolio or getting involved into application development, DevSecOps type stuff, or 3D printing. There's so much to do. A lot of my peers also double majored. It wasn't a requirement, but they also got a business degree out of it. And they still had time to enjoy the balance and the other side of it, of what Monterey has to offer. So I would say, don't just trudge along in the classes that you're given. Look for opportunities to participate outside of the classes and extra tracks, and you'll be way better for it. Because I'll tell you this, when you come to my front doorstep, or even any doorstep within the Beltway, you're going to be tasked with very strategic, complex problem sets. I thought I was going to be doing a certain thing, and I was told to manage all of M&Ray's IT systems and portfolio. And then when I got to MCTSSA, we're forging ahead with leading the adversarial cyber team, making sure that our tactical programs of record, our communication systems, have our cyber resiliency. Or we're forging, you'll be managing a global IT support center. You'll find yourself developing apps with the latest code and the latest products that the private sector has to offer. So you're going to be out there, and when you get out to the fleet, you're going to be hungry to do work and to accomplish something. And the Marine Corps is going to give you very strategic, complex problem sets to work for. And you're going to be leveraging both your leadership experience and your technical experience when you get to MCTSSA or to SysCom or wherever else. So it's very, very exciting to have a payback tour from what you learn at MPS. And MPS is guiding you on a path to success for sure.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. There's a question in the chat, maybe someone can answer, is that how did your experience at NPS mold you and develop you further than what you thought? You were already an awesome Marine officer, but then how did you take that to the next level with the NPS experience?
I would say, for me, this is Lieutenant Colonel Liguori speaking, that I had a lot of experience being a leader in the Marine Corps, and then went to NPS, and they really molded me technically. And what Dom was talking about, giving that technical, logical approach to things, and giving me not just an inch deep, but a breadth of what I was doing. And how I specifically relate to is the branch head of Manpower Reserve Affairs. I was given a task to manage all these IT portfolios or IT systems, and I had to know what networking and manage my own network and database that housed 14 billion data elements, and how to do DevSecOps, how to maintain your authorities to operate and have run a sound information assurance team. And all of those things are the technical things that you learn in individual classes. And then I just had to put it together, being a leader and managing an IT branch. So that's how it shaped me personally. And at MCTSSA, receiving the MPS graduates, I can tell you this, that they come in and I know they're technically sound. And when you mix them with civilian engineers and enlisted Marines that are very adept to the MagTaf architecture of our networks and our systems, you give them the most hardest problems to solve, and they're very eager and have great, they have the tools, so to speak, to solve those problems.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing it. It sounds intimidating, but we want to make sure that those with orders or this year and next year come into it with an open mind and be ready to go. Let's move over to Colonel Pugh for the final closeout here of our session, of our panel discussion of what to expect when you have orders to NPS. And so there's a lot of anxiety out there, probably, of Marines who aren't sure, can they make the coursework? Can they pass the classes? Are they ready for this challenge? What would you tell them?
So I had that challenge. I had an undergraduate degree in history, and I came to NPS to do computer science and specialize in software engineering. And I remember the monitor telling me, it's a pump, not a filter. And so, you will make it through, and Marines do make it through because that one, they refuse to fail, and two, because if they do run into difficulty, they recognize that it's a team sport, that it's a team effort. And so Marines do not fail at NPS. Either we lower you to something that is more within your abilities, or you just figure out like you had much more in you than you thought you did, and you were able to hang with something that initially seemed impossible. And so I think that's kind of the theme of people coming to NPS, is that all the seemingly complex, beyond comprehension problems and all of the technical details and everything else, they come to NPS, and then over the period of time where they're here, they get the education and the hands-on experience and exposure, and they realize, like, all these problems I thought were impossible to solve, actually they are solvable, and actually I can probably help solve some of them. And so while they're here, sometimes you solve them. And to Kobe's point, and to Colonel Liguori's, like, the things that you learn at NPS make you a thought leader that is able to do critical thinking and creative problem solving at a level that others just are not able to do. And that is an investment that pays for itself over and over and over again throughout your career. And after you get out of the Marine Corps, is a leader in whatever you choose to do after you leave the Marine Corps. And so just thinking about where we are in the world, kind of thing. Naval Postgraduate School was created for when you graduate from the Naval Academy, you went across the street to the postgraduate school, where they were learning about steam. And then they were learning about radar, and then that became nuclear power, and then that became space-based capabilities, and then precision weapons, and all of these things that we take for granted now as these advanced capabilities of our military. Those were born at the Naval Postgraduate School by officers and staff NCOs, just like the ones that we have now, looking into additive manufacturing and hypersonics and drones and artificial intelligence. And directed energy weapons and other things. And so, look forward to, if anyone has any questions that is watching this and isn't sure whether they should apply for the Naval Postgraduate School or not, when they go to CCLEB or CPIB boards, please, if you have questions, find an alumni or give us a call. You can find us on the mps.edu website and ask your questions and make sure that you make a fully informed choice. Because it is an awesome opportunity that you don't want to pass up. Back to you, Amy. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you. We couldn't leave our session without showing some of your background. Here's you.
That's me with hair. Yep, thank you. Just so I remember, I did have one.
And today's captains and majors will be tomorrow's colonels leading the Marine Corps, and tomorrow's Navy captains who are solving these really difficult problems that we are going to need in order to win our fights. And here you're just taking a little nap, right?
Yeah, that's a book on programming in Python that I was reading, I think.
All right.
Probably not.
Okay. And then another one here. Where were you here when this photo was taken?
And that was flying from Kuwait to Iraq in 2003 during the invasion of Iraq. And I think that's, it's just kind of brings together the two. I was doing some data science stuff on behalf of the G2 for the MEF. I think that's good, great photo to end with, at least for my bit, because it brings together this tactical experience and savvy along with the technical expertise that you gain at the Naval Postgraduate School to make the MAGTF, more effective and efficient.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you just, your career, you've had an amazing career and you're in a position to guide people as they are making this career transition and they're not sure what to expect. But I hope we've laid out some interesting ideas and thoughts and reassurance about this program. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I sure appreciate your expertise, and our panel is just such a great wealth of information. Reach out, ask questions. Don't let it be a career ender or a showstopper if you're looking to continue your career and keep it going. We need you in the fight, and we'll see you at MCTSSA or Marine Corps Systems Command one day. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time on our live stream. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you.